Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's kick off our story with a hilarious mix-up from 1991. Back then, a family found their home phone number was just one digit away from a popular pizza chain. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. One wrong number, one epic showdown. A 1991 phone call saga. It's a 1991 story. I agree that you are old, but so am I. I remember that when I was in high school, our phone number was one digit off from the nearby pizza chain. The word rhymes with Skittle Pleasers. We always gave them the wrong number, especially on the weekends. People would mumble an apology, look in their phone book again, realize their mistake, mumble another apology, and hang up. It wasn't a big deal. How many pleasers calls my dad and I would each get turned into a running joke. In fact, we kept track of everything on a sticky notepad in the kitchen. This past weekend, the phone rang and I picked it up. Me. How are you? Rando. Yes, I'd like about 4 pepperoni personal pies and a 2-liter Coke. How much does it cost? Sir, this isn't Skittles Pleasers Pizza. I'm afraid you have the wrong number. Rando. It doesn't matter if you're busy. Just take my order. I said, this isn't Skittle Pleasers. Rando. You jerk. F you. Call your GD manager right away, effing jerk. I don't know what to say, so I put the phone down on the counter and go to my dad's workshop in the basement to tell him, son, everything's fine, he tells me. I'll take care of it. I run back up to the kitchen to listen in on the other line. Dad, how are you? Yes. I want 4 pepperoni personal pizzas and a 2-liter Coke, just like I told the stupid kid. Dad, no way, that's not gonna happen. This isn't Skittle Pleasers. Rando, what the F? Are all you MFers that stupid? I'm gonna be down there soon, so get my crap ready. Dad, you stupid fool. They won't have it ready because you called the wrong number. He laughs in a friendly way. Rando, no way, buddy. I say F the pizza. I want to kick someone now. Why don't I come to your place instead? Dad, I would tell you how to get here, but you'll never figure it out. Rando, how do you know that guy is so smart? Dad, it's not even clear how to put 7 numbers in a row. He laughs even more now. Rando, F you. Dad, good luck, jerk. The old man then hung up the phone with a good old-fashioned slam. Young people, you have no idea how satisfying it is to slam an old rotary phone back onto its base. He then called the operator and told them to block the call. I called a friend at the police station in our small town. Then, just in case, they called Skittle Pleasers and told them about Rando. When Rando finally got to Skittle Pleasers Pizza and barged in, an officer was waiting in the back, out of sight. For a week, everyone in town talked about it. Up until now, only family has known the story over the years. Old man, I miss you. This story is such a classic slice of small-town life in the good old days. It's not just a tale about wrong numbers, but about how those little moments shape our memories. Your dad, absolute legend. The kind of guy who could handle an irate caller with wit, humor, and just enough sass to put them in their place without breaking a sweat. What really shines through is how much you admired your dad, not just for how he handled that situation, but for the larger-than-life presence he must have had in your world. This story isn't just about a ridiculous pizza mix-up. It's a heartfelt tribute to a man who knew how to handle life's curveballs with style and humor. Old man clearly left behind some legendary footsteps to follow. And our second story. Not family anymore. So I have this family member who seems to think everyone owes her because family. She moved here with her husband and kids to be close to their parents and proceeded to get butthurt because their parents didn't devote all their time to her and her kids, and worse still, didn't spend all their money showering the kids with gifts. My husband and I have recently built a house, and it was finally finished in time for us to move in before Christmas. I have a lot of children. Some are adults and have moved out of the family home. The only thing I wanted for Christmas was to spend our first Christmas in our new home with all of our children together for the first time in years. They always come and visit around this time of year, but with spouses, work, and other obligations, we haven't been all together at the same time for years, and especially not on Christmas Day. But this year, my wish was granted, and I was Buddy the Elf excited for Christmas this year. Last Christmas, entitled family member fed me a sob story about how they have no one and Christmas will just be horrible, so I told her they could join us if they wanted, to which they did. They proceeded to drink all the cocktails within minutes, just slamming them down one after the other. Sat around complaining about the heat, complaining about other family members, ate, then left. I didn't really mind. If I'm honest, I had a migraine and was cooking in 40-degree heat, so I didn't really have the capacity to care. I'd been talking about my plans for Christmas this year for months, moving into the house and having all my kids home. Entitled family member had plans of their own. They were all heading out of town and visiting other family members over Christmas. All is well, no issues, no problems. Well, if that were the case, I wouldn't be here now, would I? Christmas Day rolls around, and as planned, I had all my kids home, all the adult kids, significant others. It was a fantastic day. After Christmas dinner, I got a text message saying we're no longer family. Obviously, I reply with WTF and get a response saying we're not family anymore. She's done. Insert threats of self-harm and hopes I have an amazing life. I had absolutely no idea where all this was coming from, but I guess in the warped mindset that is entitlement, it all made sense to her. After a lot of back and forth trying to figure out what the problem was, turns out their Christmas plans fell through and they had to come home before Christmas. Apparently, I'm a massive a-hole because I don't spend all my time stalking people on social media and therefore didn't know they'd returned home. I'm an even bigger a-hole because I didn't invite them to my house for Christmas Day. I'd been very clear in the lead up to Christmas, I know the entitlement runs deep with this one, and had said multiple times this Christmas was the first Christmas in my new home and was being spent with all my children. No one else, no extended family, no friends, just me, hubby, our kids, and partners. At one point, after asking what the problem was and getting no closer to an answer, I came straight out and said, "Is this all really over the fact I spent this Christmas with my kids and didn't invite you and your family this year?" Turns out that's exactly what the problem was. They'd had to come back home for whatever reason. She's ostracized herself and her family from the rest of the extended family, so they spent their Christmas in their own home with just her hubby and kids while I was making the most of my day with my hubby and my kids, and it hurt her feelings that my adult children had their long-term partners here as well. Apparently my kids' partners aren't family because being in serious monogamous relationships for years means nothing, and she's blood, so she should have been invited. Am I missing something here? Where in the rule book of family does it say I have to invite every man and his dog to my home for every special occasion? Where does it say everyone else's happiness is my responsibility? How do seemingly normal people build a mindset of the whole world owes me? Look on the bright side. The trash took itself out. Don't answer the door if she knocks, block her on all platforms, and you're good to go. And our last story. How I played the long game against car thieves and won. I work at a small family-run used car lot in a neighborhood where everyone knows each other. We're not like those slimy car lots that make the business look bad. People with bad credit, those who've made mistakes but need a second chance are what we help the most. Our town looks up to us because we truly care about our customers. That's why I did everything I could to help husband and wife when they came in. Their two cute little girls were with them. They were in their early 20s. That look that says, "We need this, but are afraid of being turned away again," was on their faces. They told me that they had trouble with their credit and that other shops had turned them down. As I taught them how to improve their credit, my wife got upset, and I worked hard to get them a loan. With the help of wife's mom, I was able to get them approved for a third-row SUV that was great for their small family. Wife cried and hugged me when I gave them the keys. "Thank you very much," she told him. "You have no idea what this means to us." It was one of those times when you feel good. They didn't have enough money for the down payment, but I gave them a post-dated check for the rest because I knew they'd pay it when they got paid. That was a mistake. I put the check in the bank the following week, and you got it, it bounced. It didn't just bounce, I also had to pay NSF fees. I told my wife over the phone. "What? That's not possible," she said, sounding really shocked. It was a picture of the bounced check that I sent her. After a short pause, she told me they were short and promised to pay me back in 2 parts. She said half in 2 weeks and the rest in 2 weeks after that. I agreed, but not easily. One more mistake. It's been 2 weeks, no money, no calls, nothing. The bank then called me to say that they also hadn't made their first car payment. I chased them for days before husband finally called me back. He let out a big sigh and said, "Man, I lost my job. I did start a new one, though. My wife's mother's going to help us until we get back on track." Because I didn't want to make things worse for them, I talked to the bank. I talked them into keeping the loan open as long as the couple paid back the loan. They just about did, and I moved on. Up until the end of the month. Another payment that wasn't made, the bank called again. This time the loan was marked to be bought back. For those who don't know, that means I had to pay back the bank unless I could take the car back. Wife and husband, on the other hand, stopped calling, emailing, Facebook messaging, and everything else they did with me. Even their own mother, who was barely getting by on Social Security to help them, was stopped. Their goal was clear: to steal the car. After that, I chose to do something about it myself. The first thing I did was report the bad check to the county prosecutor. They were thrilled to file charges. After that, I began to dig. When I called my family, I found out that husband had worked 7 different jobs in 4 months and took money from everyone without repaying it. Then I looked for wife's dad on Facebook. He told me they were camped out at the house of wife's sister, which is just across the state line. He also said that he'd been trying to get custody of their kids because they were being treated so badly. With this knowledge, I called a repo company and drove myself for an hour to find the car. Their neighbors said they were hiding it in a garage. Then I got lucky. I found out that both my wife and my husband were on probation for shoplifting. When I called their probation officer, I lightly told them about the bounced check, the fact that they hadn't paid, and the fact that they had moved out of state, which was against their probation. She was very interested. I became friends with one of their neighbors while I was checking out the area. That neighbor hated them just as much as I did. A neighbor said they always yell at the kids and each other. They were told to call me if they saw the SUV parked outside. I got the call the next day. My friend, who's both very big and very scary, was sent to get the car. They gave up the keys after yelling, swearing, and making empty threats. Of course, they called me and yelled that they were going to sue. "Now you'll feel bad. My lawyer will be calling you," the husband yelled. I laughed. "I'm sure I will. Best of luck with that." After a week, I found out that their move out of state did in fact break their suspension. Wife and husband were both caught and given 30 days in jail. The prosecutor didn't hold back during their video court meeting for the bounce check charges. It made me feel good to know that justice was being done. The best part, the kids were finally given back to the wife's dad. They're now away from their parents' chaos and in a safe, stable place. I got back the SUV, though. Watching their whole scam fall apart was worth every penny, even though I lost some money. Don't waste a second chance. Who knows how to play the long game if you try to scam them? You'll lose. Whenever. Wow, this was a ride. From the moment you went above and beyond to help the couple, it's clear your heart was in the right place. You gave them a shot when no one else would, even bending over backward to make things work. Unfortunately, it seems like they were the type of people who take advantage of kindness rather than appreciating it. The level of patience you showed, calling the bank, negotiating on their behalf, and even giving them the benefit of the doubt multiple times, shows you were willing to go the extra mile. But once it became clear they were trying to game the system and burn every bridge along the way, you flipped the switch from Good Samaritan to Sherlock Holmes. And it was glorious. The mix of smarts, determination, and doing the right thing for everyone involved is a solid win. Lesson learned. When you mess with someone who knows how to play the long game, you're going to lose every time. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.